Hi, let's talk about our family's 5 top favorite read alouds. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel if you're new here. My name is Ashley and I'm here at Joyful Noise Living. I'm so glad you found me. I love to talk about homeschool and raising a family and doing homeschool when it's affordable. If you'd like to hear more, give me a thumbs up and think about subscribing. I'm so excited to do this collab with April at The Simple Rugged Path and Lee at Creative Two-Time Mom. They're amazing ladies. You should go check out their channels below in the description box. And you can check out the playlist below as well for any other homeschool moms who are sharing their top favorite family read alouds. All right, I'm gonna jump in with ours. I was excited this year because we graduated over the last year and a half to reading chapter books for read alouds. And my kids are fairly young still. They're 7, 5, and 2.5. And we were able to squeeze in and graduate from the picture books and read some more chapter books. So I'm going to share with you most of the chapter books that we read this year and really enjoyed, and a couple picture books too, because why not? We need to include those too. So the first one I wanted to share was Dangerous Journey by Oliver Hunt. It's the original Pilgrim's Progress story by John Bunyan that was made into a book full of pictures, and they adapted the language just a little bit. I brought this one to show you here. This isn't the exact one. This is Little Pilgrim's Progress, which I actually want to read this coming year because the kids loved it so much. The Dangerous Journey, I was surprised. The language itself was a little bit difficult, but I noticed my kids still followed along. They knew what was going on with Christian, and they loved looking at the pictures. And this was one of the first ones where they were like, okay, keep reading, mommy, keep reading. I would get to the end of a chapter and they'd be like, what happens next? We got to keep reading. So we read through it so fast. I intended on using it over several weeks, but I think we finished it in maybe 2 weeks because they wanted to read and find out what happened. So that was super good. We really loved that. The next one, I actually just finished listening to the audiobook of the second book in this series, but we listened to on Audible Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes by Jonathan Auxier. This is the second book. I actually went out and bought this because it was $6, so why not? And we loved the first one so much, we're like, oh, we gotta read the second one. So I listened to Sophie Choir. This is the second one on Audible as well, and it is delightful and adventurous, and the descriptions are amazing, and you feel like you're right there in all the action. And there's lots of fairy tales and adventure and fantasy, and I was surprised. It is probably more for the upper middle grades, I would say, for read alouds, and then maybe for middle school age to read it on their own. But I jumped in with it, and my kids loved it. I'll warn you a little bit though, there were a little bit darker themes that you can either edit or explain for any of your younger children, or if you have younger children that can't handle that very well, some magic and a little bit darker themes, I guess I'll just say that, but a little bit of mild violence as well. I was a little surprised, but it was handled well, and it was part of the story, and we talked it over as a family. I wouldn't let any younger children listen to or read this if they can't handle that very well, but if you have older children or kids that can handle that, I highly recommend Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes and the Sophie Choir book. So we loved that, and we listened to it on Audible, and it was so great. The next one is, oh my goodness, guys, I cannot say enough about this amazing series and this amazing book. If you don't know Andrew Peterson and his novels, you need to go find them right now. Go look it up. Put down this video and go look up Andrew Peterson and the Wing Feather Saga. This one is the first book. It is called On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, and my husband reads this one with my kids. And my 7-year-old daughter really loves this, and she listens on every word. My 5-year-old is in and out, and he doesn't always hear every time my husband reads, but my 7-year-old is in love with this and really loves the characters. So we've got all 5.5 books. North Ruby Eaton is what they're on right now. Start with the first one, The Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. This is another fantasy novel, I would say, for sure. It has an amazing world that Andrew Peterson creates. I would compare him to Narnia, the Narnia books, and C.S. Lewis, and The Lord of the Rings by Tolkien. And it's very easy to read and understand for many ages. I would say middle grades up through high school, for sure. So dragons and sword fights and family mysteries and kings and princes and darkness as well. They're fighting a lot of darkness in this one. So, but it was really, really great series. I might spoil it for you, but it has the gospel woven throughout the whole thing, and it's incredible. I don't know if Andrew intended on doing that or not, but it came out and it is beautiful. And you get to the end of the 4th book, and my husband and I, we both cried. We both wept like babies because it was so good, and it was just like, oh, that is redemption, and that was such a great redemption story, and just lots of action as well. So we loved that one. Well, I can't forget my 2-year-old. My 2-year-old, his favorite read aloud is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie books. I think we read this one or any of them from the series every single night. And I say that with a straight face because I've read this hundreds of times. My dear 2-year-old loves them, and it's just so cute. He has probably memorized them, and we point out all the pictures and talk about it as we go. But they are really great read alouds, and they're great for bedtime or any time. And I love snuggling up with my 2-year-old to read the If You Give a Mouse a Cookie books. For my last one, I also don't have a hard copy, but we got this from the library at the beginning, or it's at the beginning of this school year or at the end of last school year. I can't remember, but it was Poppy by Avi, A-I-V-I, and he's a really great writer for children's books. And the name of the book and the cover of the book, I was like, oh, it looks like it's this sweet little story about a mouse and a farm or something and a bird. But when I actually got into the book, oh my goodness, it has all animal characters, but it is action-packed. It is action-packed from the first chapter. And my daughter and I read that and we were like, oh, we have to keep reading to find out what happens. And we loved it. My daughter loved it. That was probably, I would say, the first read aloud that was a chapter book with just a few pictures in it that she actually sat and listened to and really loved. So she was about 6 and a half, I think, when we read that one. So I would recommend that for, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds for sure. Any kid who loves animals for sure. So we really loved the Poppy book. I would say go check that one out as well. So thank you so much for watching. That was my family's favorite homeschool read alouds this last year or so. I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you more. Check out any more videos that pop up over here on the playlist, and be sure and check out April and Lee and their channels as well. They're wonderful, wonderful ladies. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Other homeschool moms who are sharing their top favorite family read alouds. That is so hard to say. Favorite read aloud. Top favorite family read alouds.